what happened. Position. I'm gonna go live. People can see and hear us now.
Okay.
If at all possible, could people in the chat let me know if they can see and or hear me? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, this is the third time we restarted the stream. Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Wunderbar. Brianna just
I
played the porn noise.
It's not the porn noise.
It's the porn noise. Everyone knows the thong. Isn't that the
I
Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
I can see and hear you.
Oh, so it's your computer's the problem. Just like don't turn your computer back on. Just don't let it be on the internet. Just monitor over the phone.
Okay.
People can see. People can hear.
Excellent.
Man. So I started the stream and Streamlabs was like, you have dropped 73% of your frames. And I was like, that doesn't sound good. And Streamlabs was like, no, it's not. You gotta end the stream. I was like, okay, I'll do that. And then I, restarted the whole computer just in case. That's what you're supposed to do, right? When something goes wrong with your computer, you just panic and restart it. Just the whole thing. Doesn't matter. So hopefully we're not dropping too many frames. My upload speed is dramatically all over the place. So we'll see, guys. Thank you everyone for tuning in, as apparently you need to do to join us here. Ooh, got little guys. Drop frames detected. Only 20%? What's 20% of 60?
I don't know.
No, what's 20%? Come on, what's 20% of 60? 12. 12?
12.
So you guys are still getting 48 frames. So come on, you're fine. Okay. Now that we've managed to get this far, we got five people in the chat. And they represent several people. That's really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I hope everyone is having a wonderful, wonderful day. I drew dogs all day. That's what I did. Brianna rode a lot today. It was very exciting. Yeah. I got this mic arm that's covering half my face. But I can just move it around now. No longer do I just have a little stand in front of me. It's very exciting. So I think we will seamlessly transition into hello, Lisa. Into my little demonstration here, which my drawing for it was cut short by stream messing about. So you guys can maybe watch me do a little bit of this. Because I had no time to really set it up because I was trying to troubleshoot stuff. So there we are. So here's our little turtle guy. Yeah. And guys, as always, like let me know in chat if your stream quality seems like absolute garbage, because I'm still getting notifications all over the place from my software here that says that that the world is ending basically in my stream live. But if you can see it and it's bearable, then that's totally cool.
Every 10 seconds, but hardly any. It doesn't, at least over here.
Okay. All right.
It's just gonna glitch for 2 seconds and then.
Yeah, that seems fair. That's fine. So what I'm doing here is I'm just inking in my little base page. I learned a lot about turtles. Brianna has some science facts for you later on. Right, dear? She did her homework. I don't think she did her homework at all. But I learned that these plates on the back here, in right now, are actually like part of the spinal column that sits on the underside of the shell, which is really cool. So they're not these patterns here are not just random. They are connected very, like, on a skeletal level to much of the sea turtle. Pretty neat. So they're like fingerprints.
Turtles are not in their shells, they are their shells.
Oh. So the way I was going to do the lesson today for this little part was I'm going to talk about the spheres that we've been doing for basically all of the other animals, how we've been like doing the snowman effect for bees. We do the three balls that make a bee. Three balls and what?
And a butterfly.
And a butterfly, yes. And the cylinder that makes the whale. And what I thought we could try and do here, let me take this circle, and what we're going to do is we're going to squash it down from both directions. And this is going to give us the elliptical shape of the shell. So if we push down here, these would kind of like squeeze out this way, and we get, Brianna's just swaggering behind me like she's on the deck of a ship here, and there we go. This could be a starting place for your shell if it was like coming at you, like that. Or if we want the top angle of the shell like this, what we're going to do is we're going to apply pressure at a downward angle on our sphere like this so that it squishes out. And if you have silly putty or any sort of like if you're chewing a piece of gum, you can like ball it up and do exactly this. And it gives you a pretty good idea of what you're going for. And so if, let's say I just like put my thumb right there, that would squeeze out a bit. So let's try that. I put my thumb right in the middle. Now this orb is just gonna squeeze out, but now we have a divot. Now we have more of a torus. This is sort of like three-dimensional way of trying to think about how you're changing shapes to make it look like an animal. So I don't really want this. What I want to do is I want to pinch down the sides of my sphere and kind of pull it open. So if I were to do that, let's take the sphere as our base and pull it out a little bit, pull it out here, and then let's grab our silly putty and just like take it to the front and back a little bit. Right? Look, this is very sketchy. But if we're trying to communicate that something is a turtle shell, this is getting much closer. And this is kind of like the sculpty way of building basically any complex form, or all complex, or all animals are a series of complex forms kind of like shoved together, to be super reductive about it, I guess. And for his fins, what we take two cylinders, right? We have a cylinder here and a cylinder here. And we apply that downward pressure to the cylinders and they kind of squish out a bit. So I just wanted to get people thinking about these shapes like that. It can kind of a little esoteric when you're like picturing all of this stuff happening, or like, why don't I just draw this shape? Why do I have to fear? And the easy answer is you don't have to. You can just attempt to render this out, but the sort of long form answer is you want to start thinking in 3 dimensions. You want to start picturing your turtle in our reference here. I'm pointing at it. You can't see me pointing at it, but in our reference here, like how far away from you is that turtle? He's swimming. He looks like he's a ways away. He looks like he's almost like maybe 15, 20 feet below you. How far is he from the bottom of the ocean? These things can matter, especially if I'm going to try and render a little shadow into our turtle. If I took this turtle and I rendered my shadow all the way down here, let's say, I mean, it's underwater, so this would be much more diffuse, but like if my shadow's down here, that gives a ton of information about where the light's coming from. Actually, like this side of the shell would have to be shaded, and how high above the surface he is. So this is like, if we're gonna draw these rays down to our little turtle. So we're starting to craft things in 3-dimensional space. I think turtles are really good for that because you start with this like pretty consistent shape. That's what's nice about the turtle, is that this shell shape does not shift. This is not a spinal column. This is rigid. The head can move and swivel. The fins can move, but no other part can. And it's the same in any rotation of the turtle. So if we were going to do a little forward turtle guy, this is a little beak. You got eyes. Oh my God, they're so cute. I love them.
Baby turtle.
Yeah, we're going to get into the babies in a sec here. Alright, so we're going to try and recreate this shape. Make it a little more pinched. And I can do a fin going like this. So we have our pretty rigid pivot points as well on the anatomy of the turtle. So this can pivot here. This can pivot like the same, right? And the head can swivel in not 360 degrees, but like the head can swivel here and up and down. It has pitch, roll, and yaw. And when you're looking at your reference, it can be super, super helpful to try and get this information from your reference that way. Say, yeah, the light is coming from the right-hand side in that picture. And so his shadow, this seems like it's kind of a strafing light in our reference photo, so his shadow is going to be way off the page somewhere. But
what is a strafing light?
Or a raking light, a strong raking light.
What's
Say
that?
straight. A strong raking light is like if you have a light source that's coming like from perpendicular to your subject. So like what we have is a really heavy top light. We need more strong raking lights in the studio so that we can film without me getting drop shadow on my my pictures here. But so hopefully that's a fun way of like going about trying to build a little turtle. Little turtles. Especially because they're like floating and swimming, and the difference between them in the water and them on a beach, you can tell they're super out of their element when they're on a beach. Why is that? What about the 3-dimensional shape of the turtle on ground changes so much? It's like these limbs hang, like they're always kind of like, trying to trying to walk you. It's like my arms aren't developed for this. And so you have like a specific kind of contour that's happening to their limbs. It looks like they have trouble like holding their heads up when they're above water. It's because they're not designed to. And you're expressing that through three-dimensionality. Three-dimensionality? Three-dimensionality. That's the one I'm going for. So I want to start off by drawing, maybe doing a little watercolor of the reference that we have here. So if everyone is ready to go with their stuff, all of their materials and all that. See above where Devon was unprepared for having to troubleshoot so much. I need to grab a piece of paper.
You want me to grab it?
And my paints. Oh, yeah, I could blather. Yeah, why don't we divide and conquer? Let's do that.
What do you need?
My paints?
Paint?
Yeah. And paper. And water.
Babe.
And what else?
Where are all
I have
those
my
things?
rum and coke. Yeah, I should just grab it. Chill stream, guys. That's what we're going for. We're so chill. Man, I feel so chill right now. I'm not even like viciously angry. I was pretty mad when the stream went down last week.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Oh, troubleshooting,
Graphics
man.
hard.
Oh yeah. We might have to try and find a way to move this stream off my laptop onto the big computer. I'm thinking it's just nice to have the stream, like the little desk here. My computer's at another desk and it's not not lit very well. So, here, you can hear me rummage around in the studio
I
here.
don't know where your stuff
That's
is.
fine. I'm gonna just use some of your paper. I'm gonna steal it.
My paper?
Yeah. Or maybe. I could use. Did someone say something? What are they saying?
We vibin'.
We vibing?
We vibin'. I can get you water. You need more than one water thing?
More than one water thingy is ideal. There's loose leaf tea in the other one of my water containers. Cause I'm a monster. I just dumped. Oh god. Oh, confession time with Devon, I guess. Just dumped a whole bunch of loose leaf tea into one of my paint water things. Cause I had the David's tea strainer cup, and my kettle was like, oh my god, it's gonna become bitter and full of tannins. No one wants that. So I was panicking looking for a place to put the dripping strainy thing, and I was just like, oh screw it, I'll put it in my water dish. And I haven't chiz 3 days ago. It's just disgusting. I just live in squalor. Live in post-pandemic squalor. All right.
I got you water.
Thank you.
I couldn't find your paint still.
No, that's totally fine. That's totally fine. What is this? This is new wonderful paper that I had donated to me.
You traded it for art.
Yeah, I traded art for like 1/8 of what I got. It was very. Did an art trade for supplies. No, I wanna attempt to convey how generous it was, which I can't really do. If you feel the camera shuddering, or the earth for that matter, it's because Brianna's a short woman, and the things that I have stored in my office are in tall places. So she just jumps.
I'm checking to see if it's up there.
She's standing on stuff. This stream might begin late and end early with a trip to the hospital because my wife was attempting to get a bowl down from What are you looking for?
Your paints.
Oh. Where are my paints?
I don't know.
I got my paper. Oh my god, we're doing so well tonight. I hope everyone's like started their turtle, guys. Go right ahead. Don't please do not let me hold you back from starting your turtle. And remember all that shit I said about the squishy and the thing with the orb and the pushing on the stuff? That's what you should have taken away from this lesson. There. I need to play to this camera more, less to this camera. Come on, and use the training you actually have. Ooh. I could use... Ooh. I could use this palette.
Devon's right. I didn't do my science homework. It's because I was taking a nap. Thanks for checking in. I'm still a piece of garbage.
Brianna. Self-deprecating humor is so 2016. We only need positivity now. Yet another thing I was gifted. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. Beautiful little palette that has some ready-made colors for testing. What I'm going to do with this turtle on this beautiful, beautiful paper here is I'm going to try not to do an underdrawing. So this could go horribly. Yeah. This could go really badly. But the hope is that it won't. You know? That's the dream. And then what I want to try, instead of doing my pen and ink underneath, I want to do my pen and ink over top for funsies. Might be a nice inversion on a classic. So, how is everyone? What's everyone been up to? What are your new hobbies? I need my little piece of parchment here. There we go. I, for the first time in my life, miss a sport. That's a new thing for me. The sport is climbing, of course. And I'm going a little nuts not being able to climb. It sucks. I want to go do it. Want to go climb that wall. I don't care if someone else has breathed on it at this point. You know? That's where I'm at with this. So listen, I accept the risk. And you probably shouldn't, but yeah, no. So, I'm going to start with this. It's fairly greenish yellow here. Dan says the Beer Olympics, right? And I want to correct Dan on one part of this. And, oh no, Ashlyn. I said, for the first time in my life, I've missed a sport, and that is climbing. Additionally, for the first time in my life, I miss my faith, my religion, and that is Beer Olympics.
Oh my god. What the heck?
Yeah.
You're gonna open up about this?
I'm gonna open up about this. I'm having a crisis of faith right now.
Lots of people are.
Yeah, but not enough for having their crisis about Beer Olympics. Okay. Here we are. We've come to the moment. Do I want to put masking tape on it? Do I want to do 2 turtles? I kind of do. But this is really, really trash masking tape, isn't it?
Yes. Look at it.
Oh, do I have painter's tape? Do we have painter's tape downstairs?
I don't know. We're not going to get any more stuff.
I might have to go get painter's tape from downstairs. Brianna says I can't do that. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put her on. I'm gonna put her on the spot.
Oh my god.
Brianna, put your art here instead. Put your art here,
Oh.
and then show the world. Show the world. This is so mean. This is. I mean, if you want to leave me, you have a case. You really do.
Behold. Oh. This is my canvas, but I was doing what Devon was doing over here. I made a big teardrop shape, and I think it's too big. I'm just trying to draw the thing in the picture. Just trying to do my best. It's impossible to resist checking yourself out on like a Zoom call or anything. You're like, oh my god, is it okay? If I just put this on it. And then someone's like, underwriters? And you're like, that's... I agree. We should circle back on that one.
What happened?
Nothing.
What happened? What's going on?
I'm being funny. Look, he has wings. I drew his body too big.
Oh, that's totally fine.
He's chunky.
He's a little chunky.
Do you have everything you need?
I think I do. Yeah. Hi. Get. Can't do that on the internet.
I demand a sacrifice.
Okay. I have various forms of tape.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I found.
You got everything.
Yeah, I found so much of it. So what I'm gonna do basically is this is just a way for me to reward people who stay for the whole stream, because at the end I'll just do a big tape pull.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And if lifting like masking tape or masking fluid isn't one of your kinks, I'm so sorry, but we have nothing in common. It is one of the more satisfying things you can do with a Friday evening. For those of you who are not sure what I'm doing, I'm putting some tape down so that I can divide this page into 2 pages and also have a nice white border on it. So, because when I pull this tape up very carefully and very slowly, there should be no paint underneath it, and you typically want to use professional artist watercolor tape, but because that is incredibly expensive, what we do is we use green painter's tape. And on any lesser paper, it would like really damage the paper, but not so with arches. Not so with arches watercolor paper. 'Tis rather robust. If you are, someone who owns a piece of my art, A, thank you very much. That was a meal. B, you've probably noticed that it's not very well cut. That's because I am trying to grow out of that phase of just sort of like cutting random bits of paper up and then selling them to people. Trying to make my products a little bit nicer. And this is one of the ways to do that quite easily. Just makes it look clean and lovely. And it's just satisfying all around to do. How's the social media monitoring going?
We got tags and everything.
We got tags? We were tagged? That's awesome. Ooh, I could do a series of 3 turtles. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do 3 turtles. I'm going to try and eyeball dividing this in thirds for funsies. That's pretty good. Looks square. That's how we judge square, too. Yeah, that's square. It's good. It's whatever. Has anyone sent a picture of their near completed turtle?
Not near completed.
Before Devon has.
Alicia drew the under turtle.
The under turtle.
And it's beautiful. It's way better than my cookie turtle.
Okay, that's for the whale. I was actually like working on my whale. I was like, it looks okay. I was trying to do it in one color. Then we got a little text from Alicia, and her whale just looks amazing. And I was like, dang, she should be running this stream. Good Lord. We're gonna pull back a tad here. Oh yeah, that's satisfying. That actually looks pretty even. Not bad for eyeballing. That's what we're working on here, fam. Okay. So one of them could be swimming or... Oh, no, Alicia, thank you for sharing. Yeah, I touched paint to paper. It's frankly huge. Yeah, Ash, I agree. Like, maybe too good. We might have to, like, take credit for it.
Okay. I made progress.
You made progress?
Yeah. This guy has more realistic proportions.
I see.
I think.
You think?
Yeah.
You can check if you want to. I found when I was measuring my turtles that the length of each fin was roughly the width of the shell at its thickest point. Yeah, they have very, very long arms. So if your shell is this wide, then your fin should be here and here. As you can see, that's going to be a problem for me. So I kind of want to try and make it look as if my fins are like he's just pushed down. And they kind of, like this. Just like this. So I swim. That's how I swim. So the turtle swims. Oh, not from here. Ooh, that was a mistake I made earlier too. I just put the fin off the side. I was like, arms come from the side. These guys, their fins come from like adjacent to their neck. And imagine that. My fins come from adjacent to my neck, but for some reason I thought they just came out the side. Challenge your assumptions.
I'm marketing.
Brianna's marketing. Let's see. And the way I could sell that going into the distance is using the sort of natural cross contouring that happens along their fins. The structures make these lines that kind of wrap around the shape. So as this fin recedes into the distance underneath the turtle, I can just put those lines quite close together, and I'll give it the impression that it's flopping down away from you. What is cross contouring?
What do you mean when you say that?
Cross, those are the lines that like wrap around the form. I can give. Oh, hey, Brianna's gonna like this. I use a demonstration with my wedding ring. My finger doesn't have any like obvious cross contouring on it, right? So if I was going to draw a hand like this, it would look pretty flat. And even if the hand that I was drawing had a tilt to it, so this is almost a 45-degree tilt, but in 2D, there's nothing really selling that. Whereas if I have my ring on, you know that this is a circular object, and now you can see the tilt of it at that 45. This cross contour, just a single cross contour in my hand, helps to sell the idea that it is tilting up towards you. And there's a lot of other things you can do, but cross contouring is one of the easiest ways. Fingers naturally have, like, you have these lines in your hand that are natural cross contours. If you've ever seen like literally any concept art or character design art, a lot of the time they have like bracers on their arms, like these like leather bracers. People use those to sell cross contouring all the time. Like crowns. What else? Fur can be a cross contouring device as well. So if you're texturing in clumps and layers, the layers naturally make these like rings around something that help define its form. So there's different types of contour lines, but the cross contour is the one that you learn about pretty early on when it comes to trying to render these three-dimensional objects. Brianna has every color but blue. What? Really?
I know. My phthalo blue.
That's garbage. Water can be green.
I know, but I only have like hunter green. I don't know if hunter green and ochre are gonna make that sea turtle colored water that I want.
Hunter green and ochre make a sea turtle colored turtle.
That's true.
So
I will probably use it for the turtle.
you're halfway there. You're halfway there.
I already did the one that was a key up because you already said it's a halfway there.
Oh, so I should have done Living on a Prayer.
Yeah.
Shit. Why did you marry me, idiot? Oh, I love their eyes. I love that their eyes like stand out so far from their heads. Wonderful. I love the way this turtle in the little reference picture we have here has his back fins. He looks like he just pushed with them and he's zooming. He's zooming.
This paint is dry inside.
This paint is dry inside.
Just like my
don't make circa 2016 humor, Brianna. It's so over it. This is the era of positivity.
This is a fresh one.
Is it fresh with a PH though? Fresh with a PH. What do I want? I want this paintbrush. I'm reaching for a paintbrush. Whoa.
2-year-old dollar store acrylics.
2-year-old dollar store acrylic.
Drier than a nun's fart.
Drier than a nun's fart.
Look at this. Does that look like paint to you?
No. No. It looks like sand. No, it's gonna be out of focus, but it doesn't adequately convey the like granules of pigment. Yeah. If you put some of the Liquitex stuff that's on there on my desk, on this desk.
Mix it with white.
No, don't mix it with. Oh, okay, you mix it with white. Are you some weird artist product? Okay. Let's go. So I want to wait for this to dry. So I guess I will do the background in the meantime. Brianna made a little fart.
No.
Not an actual fart. It was a fart sound. I mean, she's probably made an actual fart during the stream, but you probably couldn't hear it.
Gross.
She says gross. She's trying to maintain some like innocence, but it's not true. Don't listen to it. Oh. When you mix the dollar store acrylic with white, it looks like you mixed blue sand into white.
It looks like blue sand.
It looks a little bit like. It's like this. So I should give direction on like mixing paint. Mix to like a seagull poop consistency. Yeah, but seagull after like a fair. Because that's when the seagulls have had like the most soft serve ice cream.
Ew. Seagull at a fair.
Is seagull at a fair one of them?
No.
Wizard on a
Starts with an
chair.
L.
Oh,
Lizard or
lipstick on a
it
pear.
Sort of has to sound like living, but
I see. I see the joke. I get it. This is a really, really beautiful blue. So I've never used any of these colors before. They're from a set that was from the large wonderful donation I got. Which literally doubled the number of pigments that I have available to me. But because I've been drawing mostly in my work day, I haven't actually really got a chance to test them out yet, so I'm using the stream as an excuse to try them. So you may see some hopefully happy accidents, but it's likely that they will just become kind of... Oh, that's beautiful, that glaze. That blue over the yellow. Which way is our shadow side is here, so what we should do is I'm going to pick up some of this wet paint that I have here, and I'm just going to like... This wet paint that I have here, and brush it. Oh my lord, that's lovely.
it's a nice cerulean.
Yeah, I have to play around with trying to film the watercolors more. It's really, really difficult to convey sort of the actual color that's happening here. So just let this dry here a little bit. I thought that would give it kind of like a cool sandy texturing. Brianna's trying to squeeze paint out of a tube. She's not trying to squeeze anything else out of a tube. As much as that might come as a surprise to some people who can't see her here. Is this what we become? Fart jokes. This isn't what you've become. It's what you always were. Okay. In our reference, this color, like this blue here, is like very, very powerful. So it's powerful. It's overwhelming. Just florped water right onto my painting. Florp. Wherefore did this color come from? It's one issue with using a palette you've never used before. Is paint. Oh yes, very good. Oh yeah, I had a key. Smart, whoever did that. This is Gene. Which one is it? It doesn't matter. I'll wing it. Just eyeball it. Found it. Lemon and a pear, wizard at a fair. Wizard at a fair.
Lizard in a chair.
Wizard in a chair. The last of the true memes.
What?
Well, that's how you know you're getting older. That's when you think like,
Pick an arbitrary meme.
No, Harambe was the last true meme. Harambe was the last real meme.
Oh god.
Pour one over. I just think Harambe just showed like the true capacity of the internet to just ruin everything. Just like okay, here we go.
Ashlyn says lemon and a pear.
Mm-hmm.
Lemon's a good one. There's also like lipstick on something. On a bear?
I thought it was lipstick on a pear.
Yes, it's usually lipstick on a pear. I was just trying to riff on the
Lipstick. Yeah, lipstick on a bear works. That's funny imagery. Oh, oh, you absolute troll. Wow.
I had to.
I had to. I couldn't hold it in.
I'm so sorry. I'll never do it again.
Yes. Never trust an ogress.
I cannot be trusted. I'm sorry.
No. I'm. I don't want to be sorry. I'm literally calling you heinous names. Things you should never say to a woman, even in jest.
Mixed company.
Someone's gonna message you after the stream being like, Devon called you an ogre on the stream. That's horrible.
Fiona
Are you
was
okay?
an ogress. She's hot.
Fiona was an ogre. Fiona was hot. Cameron Diaz is hot. Am I right? She never got together with Ben Stiller. That's something about Mary, right? That's something about Mary. Something About Mary with the jizz in the hair.
What?
Have you never seen Something About Mary?
No. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about a movie called Something About Mary with Ben Stiller and Cameron Diaz that features a funny scene where he styles his hair.
Ew,
It's very funny. It's very funny humor. It's prime. It's a rom-com. You love rom-com. I can't believe you love rom-coms so much.
I selectively like specific rom-coms.
Yeah, you just like select the worst ones.
That's pretty arbitrary, actually.
The trashier the rom-com, the better.
This isn't working out for me, love.
The turtle?
Yeah.
Did you... Oh.
It's ugly.
No, the inspiration didn't strike for this one, did it? That's okay.
Yeah. It's alright.
That's not necessarily what we're here for. We're here to just smudge some stuff around and have a couple drinks and just to say we did it. So that when people ask like what you did during quarantine, you can honestly say something other than just Netflix. No, Brianna, not existential despair. It's not 2016. No. The Witcher. That's right. No, that's what we're trying to avoid is existential despair.
Yeah,
This
so
is a
that's what
hopeful
you're
stream.
saying. We did something other than existential despair.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. I jumped on you too hard about that one.
Mm.
It's terrible. It's a stream. It's for children. It's awful. Influence on the youth. That's looking kind of cool from the stream perspective. Painting watercolor for a live stream like this is good practice for using a Wacom tablet. Because I'm almost like looking at the screen to see if it's reading more than I'm actually looking at the paper.
Oh, well, that's good.
That's neat. Yeah. Oh, you know.
Put texture in your painting. All you must do is stab it aggressively.
Yes. Stabbing painting is texture. We all know this. Throw sand at it. It's beach. You know, sand
Exactly.
is on the beach. Painting a beach. Why paint the beach? Bring beach to your painting. Don't bring painting to look like beach. It's a waste of time. Waste of time and life essence. Just throw sand at it. Rub it in some glue. Throw it at your canvas. I think that was a good bit. I think that the Russian throwing the sand at the canvas, I think that was a good bit.
You're a good bit.
What time is it?
It is 8:40.
Oh my goodness. God, why does it take so long for me to do anything? Jesus Christ. Wait for this to dry out a little bit. Then I might go back along those like sand dunes that I had in there and pull them out a little more. Actually, I should use a different brush for doing the turtle shell. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this blue and I'm going to mix it with an orange a little bit. And then it should give me kind of an evergreen color, which will hopefully look good as the turtle shell. Are you okay?
Yes.
Did your throat just like leak air like a bicycle tire?
Yes.
Is that what that noise was? I thought someone like threw a cat out of a truck from like across the street. I was like, ah, 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 but it was just, it was like your hair's just like your throat's just like a leaky basketball. What is that noise? Oh, so horrible. Ooh. Skinny Bunny 565 because Skinny Bunny 564 was taken is Catherine. Thanks for saying that, Catherine. Because I said skinny. I read that as skinny. I'm dyslexic. Yeah, okay, yeah, all right. Now it's the joke's on me. I really read skinny. God, I need to get my eyes checked. You think I'm skinny? Brianna's a big old TikTok now. Are you monitoring the stream? Because you're gonna. What? Just nothing. Can you hear it when I get all like ASMR on the stream? I'm talking to you like 13 seconds from now. Can you hear me when I get all ASMR on the stream? That's what I'm asking. No. Hasn't come up yet. Is our stream delay really that long? It's like 20 seconds. Oh, dang. Can you hear me though? That I'm whispering? I've been whispering for like over 10 seconds. I think this whispering ASMR bit was pretty good. I think this was a pretty good bit. I need some rum. Coke. No. I can't have Coke on the stream. No, the stream's not big enough. Coke doesn't care. Catherine says yes, but don't. Here, I'm gonna get real ASMR. Here, look. I'm gonna take this. Was that good for you too? Okay, it's too much. It's too much. I get shots. It's hard. The bit went like 25 seconds too long. That's what I think. I think that's the feedback I give myself on that bit. Yes. Oh, my evergreen color here. Okay. This turtle's shell. So the issue I'm gonna run into here is trying to like push the turtle shell to be logging off. Yeah. Yeah, right. Logging off. But why, Catherine? You got something to go take care of now? They're smart.
The jar actually sounded really nice.
The jar sounded really nice?
Yeah.
That's what I was going for the whole time. Mm-hmm. Where is my own reference that I drew my own self? Okay. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on that shell. What's the anatomically correct shell? What's the whatever? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're like, wow. What's the top of the spine? The top of the spine here. What is it? Cranial? Oh my god, I should know this. Oh my god. That's very basic. Very basic. Lumbar. Sagittal. What is that word? Anyways, these plates have a name that corresponds to the vertebrae that they grow out of, which is pretty cool. swear one of these days I'm going to actually finish a painting on the stream. I might just one day.
Oh, it takes time.
But because I'm doing this on nicer paper this time, I will actually finish it at some point this week. Which is nice. Small update. I have been doing something called Mooniversity, which is university but made by Brianna. So I was like, I'm having trouble learning because all I have is like 1,300 videos on my watch later on YouTube, all about art and learning and all that stuff. And I was like, I need you to like ADHD proof this playlist for me. And she's like, so she wrote out a whole bunch of courses based on certain themes. And I've been like testing it for the last week and a half now. And so far, it's been really cool. And Brianna's like knocked it out of the park with like she doesn't know what the artwork I'm doing is necessarily, but you like just built a course. Amazing. Having a knowledge of what course structure is more important than having a knowledge of like what to teach someone who's like starting out in art.
You're not starting out in art. So
but I was
find videos that were not just for beginners. Like I had to look for more master classes and stuff, and most of those are behind paywalls.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is understandable but frustrating.
Yeah. But the purpose of the exercise was trying to synthesize the feeling of being in school with like at least 4 courses. So I have a crap ton of homework. I have a lot of homework to do. And then I was like, Brianna, do you want me to do this from you? And she was like, I did my time. And I was like, okay, makes total sense. But like how homework piles up and stuff, and everyone's probably going to roll their eyes at it because they're like artists. But I didn't really do proper school, you know. So this is the first time I've ever like challenged myself to actually do it. And I was having trouble sticking to a schedule, but a curriculum, for whatever reason, feels different. You know? It's been really fun. Yeah. I posted some of the wolves I was drawing today on my story. I was attempting to be a good Instagrammer. I'm going to let this little guy dry. And what am I going to do here? Let's try something wild and crazy. On this side here, I'm going to make a little sand dune. Like that. Get that down. Rinse off my brush. And then I'm going to brush this line out. So you have a nice little fade. Wait for that to dry. There's so many adorable pictures on the internet of turtles like resting their heads on sand dunes. So I kind of wanted to do one like that. Just like resting its chin here. So I might need some actual turtle face reference. We'll see. Many artists have taken to being online in the wake of the global crisis. And those of whom I follow, there's like 30% of them can paint and speak at the same time. And oh my god, I admire them so much. And I'm just in agony with the other ones. It's really hard. That's lovely. There's a little bit of blue accidentally in this brown that kind of made it into the lower part. Was learning about like a molar mass of paint and the pigment that they use. And I knew a little bit about this before, that the actual like weight of the pigmented molecules makes a difference when you're mixing your paints. I mean, like, this doesn't really come into play unless you're doing like high level archival artwork, like you're trying to preserve cultural heritage and stuff by touching up like impasto paintings and stuff from the like 1400s. But they can mix these like almost like a neon pink and like a phthalo blue or something like that to make this like bananas color of oh god, what was it? It was like a gray green purple. And it was, the guy was talking about it, was like it's like neon pink and this blue. You expect the purple part ish, but the gray green, he's like the some of the molecules in the middle of the mixture just like happen to knit together that way, or just like settle that way. It's like it'll stay like this for 600 years. I was like, so cool. What I do really is science. But you can actually like test it. There's like heavier paints, but that for watercolor you can, because you're just like smushing them together. Like purple's pretty heavy, so if you mix it towards a yellow, you'll see the purple like push the yellow.
Purple is actually a problem in eyeshadow as well.
Oh.
Purple is a difficult pigment to get to stick together.
That's neat. That's neat that it carries, because it's the same pigments.
Yeah.
Right, just different mediums.
Yeah, purple tends to separate into, like the blue tends to separate out and fall off your eye down into the bottom of your eye, which sucks because it makes you look extra tired. So purple eyeshadow is kind of a commodity because it's hard to get good stuff.
Cool.
So that's weird that it's cool that it's about the actual pigment itself.
Yeah.
The actual color.
So the history of pigments is actually like the history of alchemy and the beginning of chemistry. Like it transitions that way, because people were making color mixtures before they were making medicine. So it's like, yeah, the history of food and the history of pigment goes together really like hand in hand. It's pretty cool. I'm sure there's a podcast on it. Yeah, used to be an app for that, but now there's a podcast about it. Okay. It's so weird transitioning from drawing all day as well.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm just not warmed up at all.
Well, it doesn't look like it to us, honey.
No, thanks, dear.
It's just not working out.
He's just His shell color hasn't turned with the season quite yet.
It's like baby poop.
Slightly more grown up poop. Come on, give yourself that. Baby poop's much more green.
It's pretty green.
I would know. I've seen lots of baby. Why would I claim to know the color of baby? Why would I just outright state, like, no, it's not, idiot. I know what baby poop looks
Are you okay?
like. Oh no, I'm cooped up. No, I'm actually like having fun with this. I'm absolutely gonna go over it later with my pen. I really like that look, and I know it doesn't it's not very commercially viable. People who buy watercolor paintings want like a watercolor painting. So doing the whole pen and ink thing over top of the watercolor underlay or overlay, I guess, just hasn't really sold well for me before, so it's like a little bit de-incentivized to practice it, but I just love how it looks. It's super cool. It's like really comic booky almost. You can do really cool things with it. It just makes like your margin for error with the watercolors kind of controls for that. So that's probably how I'll actually do it on the stream from now on, is just like maybe even prepare pen and ink underneath first and like color it in. I'll be able to talk more and actually get a painting done, I think, if I do that. So, and hopefully, you know, if I keep doing this university thing, I'll get good enough eventually to just Bob Ross it. Because, I mean, that's the dream, right? The dream is just to, like, in 45 minutes, make an actual masterpiece. That's insane.
That is the dream.
One of the artists who I have been learning from actually was like they're good enough. When someone on their stream was like, "Do you like Bob Ross?" He kind of looked up and he was like, "Yeah, you know, Bob Ross is a pretty good artist. I respect what he's done for art. Like, he's made it accessible. But, you know, he's like, he did one thing. It was okay." And I was like,
Oh my god.
how dare you have the confidence in your own artwork to suggest that Bob Ross is anything but an actual, like, messiah of oil paint? Like, imagine having that confidence. Oh my god. I didn't know whether to be, like, offended or in awe that this person would be like, Bob Ross is cool. I've modeled some of, like, my stream structure after Bob Ross. He's all right.
It's gonna be the only good part.
Yeah. That one was more like 2015.
2015 was before everything went really dark.
Yeah, but we were still kind of like teenagery and melodramatic. Yes, the good old days. 2015. It's very noisy. Yeah, I'm sure no one heard your belch that I think weighed in at 3 on the Richter scale. It's a 40-foot wave about to hit Indonesia because of your burp.
Come now.
Too soon. That looks almost like a turtle's head. He will have a sleepy eye here. He will be snoozing.
You definitely could not hear it on the stream.
Couldn't hear it on the stream?
No. Not with these dollar store headphones.
But the wonderful viewers could feel it.
Alicia says she's stressed about coloring the turtle. Can you give some love about coloring in the turtle?
Alicia, I'm stressed about coloring the turtle in too. Like, look at this thing. That's not great.
Don't say that. You're
What-
the teacher.
No, I'm just the one who had enough pre-existing camera material to put a stream together. Is Alicia working in watercolor? Watercolor? Okay. So what you want to do with your watercolor paint, this is probably applicable to acrylics as well. What I'm going to do here, this is still quite messy, but I've kind of put in my light side and my my dark side here. So Jedi Sith, and this is just kind of like natural color as an underlay. And what I'll do is I'll take this darker evergreen color, mix something darker, maybe even a little more brown. He's got a lot of lovely, like almost mustardy brown in his shell here. And then you want to carefully paint in the those squares, not squares, parallelogram. What would these be? What's a 5-sided shape? Why can't I think of that? Pentagram. Good Lord. Good God. You'll really carefully paint in those little pentagrams on his back. And use that underlay that you put in before doing that and let it show through in the cracks between the pentagonal shapes. And I think if you just work really slowly and deliberately that way, you'll have a really lovely little shell effect going on. This isn't even, mine's not quite dry yet, so I don't want to hazard it because this paper's bleeding a lot. Brianna said I could help with hers, and I just took a look at it, and I'm not sure I can.
We have a loving relationship.
We have a loving relationship. We have a loving relationship. It's supportive, and most of all, it's honest.
No, it's fair.
So don't stress about painting in the turtle quite yet. I would take a nice like maybe blue green or a yellow green, and do just the entire silhouette of the turtle first, and then slowly do those shapes afterwards with like a darker brown or something like that. And the cool thing is, what you'll be doing is a technique called glazing, where you're taking a color and you're putting it over top of another color after it's dried, and that color underneath will still have some shine and vibrancy through whatever you're putting on top. So you're trying to basically make a color combination that is greater than the sum of its parts. So brown can often be quite dull, but if you paint it over a yellow or a blue or a purple, that will influence the color of the brown and make it seem rich and lovely. So that's a way of starting to work some neutrals back in. Because when we start painting, especially with watercolor and acrylics, we're just throw color at it. It gets really oversaturated.
What do you mean?
I can't think of an example though. I can't. Nothing's coming to mind. And so you want to start mixing a little bit of neutral tones back in to your artwork, and that's a good way of doing it. Ryan yelled in the chat, "What did you mean about the motherboard upgrade?" Ryan is trying to upgrade his PC, and he texted me, and he said he can't upgrade his CPU unless he upgrades his motherboard. And I believe I said, does that go for any model of CPU? Like, what's wrong with your motherboard? Why won't your motherboard take a new CPU? And then Ryan didn't understand that.
What?
That's what happened. That's the whole story up until now.
Oh.
It has yet to progress.
You ghosted him, so he's
And then I ghosted him. And then I ghosted him, basically, Oh yeah, because he said, "What do you mean by that?" And then I didn't answer for like 6 hours because I was doing stream things. Today, yeah, this all happened today. I'm like a classic case of Devon not responding for like 4 days, which believe me is a classic case. But just trying to upgrade computers. Oh my god. I tried to download an app on our and then ignore me for 4 hours. Yeah, we already talked about that. Stream delay. Ryan, come on. Catch up. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Ignored's a strong word. Forgot is also a strong word.
Postponed, delayed.
I was trying to download an app on our ancient iPad. It's the first generation of iPad that had the mini butt plug, the mini guy they changed from the wide one to the yes, exactly. And I forget what app I was trying to download, like OneNote or something. And it's like, oh, you need to be on this OS to download it. I was like, OneNote existed at some point. Like it was compatible at some point with this version of the software, but you can't download that old version of OneNote from the App Store anymore. It's a single version system. So basically the App Store was like, oh, sorry, to download that you need a new iPad. Just go grab one of those and you should be fine. And I was like, so I feel ya. Right, I know this is kind of a tangential story, but it's just trying to upgrade technology is literally the worst. It's like you need the Express 3 G6i UI PCI ports for the i7 5.326 gigahertz XT4 RGB, but not for the Asus version. That one should be compatible. Like, what are you talking about? That's why I do art. It's the most pretty colors. This is 909. Oh my god, guys, I really got nothing done. So, is it still interesting for people to essentially like watch me do a coloring book? Because this doesn't seem interesting to me. This just took a long time as I was blathering. What do you think?
You have a very relaxing voice, so I think it's nice, but I might be biased. I don't know.
I think you're probably biased. I'm pretty sure you wouldn't like marry someone you thought had a really annoying voice. You have to listen to me do this. Like I'm like, this is it. This isn't. But there aren't. So, I'd have to have a pretty good voice. Oh, that was my circa 2016.
Yeah, babe.
Oh, damn. We need hope.
Rebellions are built on hope.
What I should have said is, wow, I must have a really annoying voice. That was me doing it. Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe I'll make it a video. We said we were gonna do videos last time we streamed, which is 2 weeks ago now, and we have footage now. Yeah, we actually
filmed one.
Yeah, we've made it far enough to have a whole bunch of footage. We've had the camera rolling for a bunch of stuff, and I was like, oh, I'll just throw a video together and put it online before the stream tonight. And editing saw it takes a long time. It takes time to learn. It's a skill. I'm sure that caught people off guard learning that kind of thing is a skill. But I think for all of these paintings that I haven't really finished, I'd love to make like a video follow up. Where I could edit out garbage like that, and make little tutorials and stuff. I think that'd be really fun, especially when I don't get the stuff done on stream. So if anyone wants to, see how these pictures go from looking like a kid in kindergarten started them to hopefully an actual sellable product. I'd really like to do more of that. So, I hope you guys had fun tonight. I know it was a little bit weird, but at least we stayed positive. Staying positive through having to troubleshoot random stream garbage is always like is a bit tricky. So
Is it gonna take a long time to finish it?
oh yeah, these are yeah. So I think we'll probably just wrap up for the evening. We've already gone an hour and a half. What do you think? Yeah, it's already 9. What do you think? What do you think?
I guess we could.
Yeah, some of the feedback we've got is that we want to keep it around an hour and a half to like under 2 hours basically. So I hope everyone had fun this evening. It was definitely loosening up a bit on camera, which is really nice. Vic and Josh and the joke. So I hope to see every one of your turtles. And I am going to, over the next week of doing all my homework and stuff, try to also get up to date with these little tutorial videos. So maybe they can supplement some of the learning I try and do in like the first little segment. If any of you guys are interested in actually like trying to take the painting forward and not just like hang out and shoot the shit, as they say. Cool. Hope you guys have a wonderful week. We're gonna try and go back to doing this weekly, but we found that like having us tied to the weekly thing was a little bit tricky, especially with the amount of work that I've been giving myself. But we're really gonna try to do it every week now. So tell your friends, tell their dogs, then paint their dogs, and then get me to paint their dogs. That's what we're going for. Love you all very much. Everyone stay very safe and wash your hands for at least 4 seconds. That's what I've been told. At least 40 seconds. Wash your hands. Wash your hands for 4 minutes every time. Okay? I think the thing is that if like the amount of soap you use is kind of like a time multiplier. So if you use like 4 things of soap, you can reduce the time you spend washing your hands by, I think it's like 10 seconds per squirt of soap. So if you're going to wash your hands for 40 seconds but use 3 squirts of soap, it's only a 10-second hand wash. And if you do it 4 times, then you just keep the soap on your hands and you're totally fine. You just go about your day. And don't take healthcare advice from anyone but a trained professional. That's what I'm going for here. It had a point to it. Okay? Love you all very much. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming out this evening and painting with us. I demand to see. There's 7 viewers, and I know that there's like, a couple people watching. So, you sing happy birthday. Yes. And then it's the amount of soap just is what sets the tempo. Okay. Love you guys very much. We will see you next